Hi all, good afternoon. Okay, today we are already in week 10. Okay, so our topic for today is exporting, importing, and counter trade. Okay, this is our topic today. So why people do export? So normally exporting is the way to increase the market size and profit. So you in order for you to get the to expand your market size and also to have a profit, you normally will do this what we call as a exporting. So what is actually exporting? I already tell you what is exporting are. So exporting is actually you send a good and services to another country for sale. Okay, so normally large firms, they often proactively seek for the export opportunity. So large firm, they do export. They normally take the export opportunity, but the smaller firm, they export reactively because of due to the complexity of exporting. Sorry. So this exporting is one of the rise thanks to the decline in the market barrier under the World Trade Organization and regional economic agreements such as EU and NAFTA. We already learned what is EU and this NAFTA. So exporting firm needs to identify the market opportunities, deal with the foreign exchange risk, navigate import and export financing, understand the challenges of doing business in the foreign market. So in order for you to do the exporting, you must know all these things: identify the market opportunity, deal with the foreign exchange risk, navigate import and export financing, and also understand the challenges of doing business in a foreign market. So you cannot simply okay, I just want to export something. So you must have a knowledge about export too. Okay, what are the promise and the pitfalls of exporting? It's actually what is the advantage and disadvantage of the exporting. Okay, first, the advantage. This is all the promising. The advantage is exporting is a way to increase the market size. The rest of the world is usually much larger market than the domestic market. Okay, exporting is the way to increase your market size. And large firms are often proactively seek new export opportunity. So large firm, they proactively seek new export opportunity, because a large firm, if you have the new export opportunity, is indirectly actually increase your profit. So many smaller firms are reactive and wait for the world to come to them. If you are a small firm, you wait for the import. Okay, so small firm, they fail to realize the potential of the export market, and the smaller firms are often intimidated by the complexity of the exporting and initially runs into problem. Okay, next, the common pitfall. Okay, the common pitfall of the exporting include: first, poor market analysis. Okay, poor understanding of competitive condition, a lack of customization of the local market, poor distribution program, poorly executed promotional campaign, problem securing financing, a general underestimation of the different and expertise required for foreign market penetration, and underestimation of the amount of paperwork and formality involved. So this is the disadvantage of exporting. Okay, there are various ways to get information about foreign market opportunity and to avoid the pitfall associated with exporting. So some countries, they provide direct assistance to exporters, and export management companies can also help with the export process. So there's now everything is on di hujung jari. So you can just gain all the information regarding the market opportunity and the exporting. Okay, what can US firm gets from its export information? So the US United States Department of Commerce is most comprehensive source of export information for US firm. So the International Trade Administration and the United States and Foreign Commercial Service Agency, they can provide best prospective for firms. So the Departments of Commerce also organize various trade events to help firms make foreign contacts and explore export opportunity. The Small Business Administration is also source of the assistance, and local and state government can also provide the export support. Okay, now we move to the EMC. So what is actually EMC? So EMC is a export management companies. Okay, they are one of the export specialists that act as the export marketing department or international department for client firm. So normally they have two types of export assignment. First, they start exporting operation for the firm with the understanding that the firm will take over operation after they are well established, and they start service with the understanding that EMC will have continuing responsibility for selling the firm's product. So there are two types of export assignment. They start export operation for the firm with the understanding that firm will take over operation after they establish. After they establish, the firm will take over. And the second one is they start service with the understanding that EMC will have continuing responsible for selling the firm's product. So a good AMC, they will help the neophyte exporter identify the opportunity and avoid common pitfall. So this neophyte exporter means the beginner. Okay, you are just begin as the exporter. Okay, however, not all the AMC are equal. Some do a better job than others, and firms that rely on the AMC may not develop their own export capabilities. So this is all about the EMC. Okay, next, to reduce the risk of exporting. So what are the ways in order for you to reduce the risk of exporting? First, you must hire an EMC or export consultant to help identify the opportunities and navigate through the tangled web of paperwork and regulations so often involved in exporting. Okay, first you hire the export consultant. Second, you can focus on one or few market at first. You cannot just go banyak export market. So just focus maybe satu atau dua, sikit je dulu. Enter a foreign market on fairly small scale in order to reduce the cost of any subsequent failures. Don't take a risk. Okay, you just enter the small scales first. So if you fail, you facing any failure, you not have to bear a lot of costs. Okay, recognize the time and managerial commitment involved. Develop a good relationship with local distributors and customers. Hire locals to help establish a presence in the market. Be proactive and consider local production. So this is the strategy how to want to reduce the risk of exporting. Okay, we go to the next one. Okay, export and import financing. Over time, various mechanisms for financing export and import have evolved in response to the problem that can be particularly acute in the international trade. So there are the mechanism that you can see financing export and import. The mechanism are the lack of trust that exists when one must put a faith in a stranger. Okay, you put your faith in the stranger hand. Your faith in the stranger. I mean, what your future is based on your stranger. Okay, that's what one of the mechanism for the problem exists in the import and export. Okay, lack of trust. So many international transactions are facilitated by the third party. Okay, they are third party. So by including the third party, the element of trust is added to the relationship. So normally, so the third party is normally the reputable bank. So this is normal. If you want to do any business, so you must involve the third party. So of course, you automatically we have a lack of trust. Okay. Okay, this is how lack of trust. Okay, for example, importer French, exporter American. So this is a bank. So importer obtains bank promise to pay on the importer's behalf. So bank promise importer to pay on behalf of the importer. So importer ship to the bank, trusting bank promise to pay, and bank pays exporter. Bank give merchandise to importer, and importer pays bank. So this is how what we call as lack of trust happen. Then we have a letter of credit. So a letter of credit is issued by a bank at the request of an importer and states the bank will pay a specific sum of money to the beneficiary, normally the exporter, on presentation of particular specified document. So the main advantage of the letter of credit is that both parties to the transaction are likely to trust a reputable bank, even if they do not trust each other. Okay, they trust a reputable bank even though they are not trust each other. So this is like apa tu, fact you need to memorize this. Okay, then we have a draft, or we call it as a bill of exchange. Okay, is the instrument normally used to in international commerce for payment. So a draft is simply an order written by an exporter instructing an importer or an importer's agent to pay a specified amount of money at a specified time. So specified. Okay, a signed draft is payable on the presentation to the drawee, while a time draft allow of delay in payment, normally 30, 60, 90 or 120 days. It's a draft. Okay, next we have bill of lading. Bill of lading is issued to the exporter by the common carrier transporting the merchandise. So it serves in three purposes. It is a receipt. Okay, the merchandise described on document has been received by carrier, and it is a contract. Carrier is obligated to provide transportation service in return for certain charge, and we have it is a document of title, can be used to obtain payment or a written promise before a merchandise is released to the importer. Okay, now we have export assistance. There are two forms of the government-backed assistance available to exporter. Two forms of government-backed assistance available to the exporter. We have financing aid available for the Export-Import Bank, and also export credit insurance is available for the Foreign Credit Insurance Association. Okay, the Export-Import Bank, we call it Exim Bank, is independent agency in the US government. So it provides financing aid to facilitate export, import, and the exchange of commodities between US and other countries. So this Exim Bank achieved its goals through various loan and loan guarantee program. So this is in US. Okay, in Malaysia also we have the Export-Import Bank of Malaysia Berhad, Exim Bank Malaysia. Okay, so we also have this thing, and this the purpose of this Exim Bank Malaysia. Okay, the vision of this Exim Bank Malaysia is to be a leading financial institution for Malaysian cross-border venture, and the mission is to facilitate Malaysian global businesses by providing banking and credit insurance products and services, to provide developmental advisory services in the nurturing Malaysian cross-border business venture. So if you want to know more about the Exim Bank Malaysia Berhad, you can go to their website, or you can Google Exim, EZIM, Exim Bank Malaysia. Okay, we have a export credit insurance protects exporter against the risk that importer will default on payment. In the US, export credit insurance provided by the Foreign Credit Insurance Association, FICA, and FICA provides coverage against the commercial risk and the political risk. Then we have a counter trade. So counter trade, when conventional means of payment are difficult, costly, and non-existent, some firms may turn into the counter trade. So counter trade is referred to the range of the barter-like agreement that facilitate the trade of goods and services for the goods of services when they cannot be trade for money. So counter trade actually macam barter system. Bila the goods and services cannot be trade for money, they trade between good and services. Okay, these good and services, they trade into the good and services when they cannot trade the money. Okay, there's a barter system. So the incidence of the counter trade during the 1960s, when the Soviet Union and the communist states of Eastern Europe have non-convertible currency. Okay, they don't have currency that time. Okay, the counter trade emerged as a means purchase and import. So during the 1980s, the technique grew in the popularity among the many developing nations that lacked the foreign exchange reserve required to purchase necessary import. So there was a notable increase in the volume of the counter trade after the Asian financial crisis in 1997. So normally there are 5 versions of counter trade. Okay, there are 5 distinct versions of counter trade. We have barter, we have counter purchase, we have offset, compensation or buyback, and switch trading. Okay, before we go to the next slide of the certificate types, okay, counter trade types, okay, we go to the code for this week. IB 10 EIC. Okay, IB 10 EIC. So there's a code for today. Okay, 5 distinct versions of counter trade, or 5 types of counter trade. Okay, first we have barter. Okay, barter system. I think you all know what is a barter system. It's actually direct exchange of goods and services between two parties without any cash transaction. So I want to change, I want to eat, for example, fish. So you have maybe chicken. So I want to do a barter system with you. So barter is the most restrictive counter trade arrangement, and it's used primarily for one-time only deals in transaction with trading partners who are not creditworthy or trustworthy. So because you don't have any cash transaction in between, so you can use barter system. Then we have counter purchase. It is reciprocal buying agreement. So it occurred when the firm agreed to purchase a certain amount of the material back from the country to which the sale is made. Okay, or in other words, a counter purchase is actually a particular types of counter trade transaction in which two parties agree to both buy goods from and sells goods to each other but under separate sale contract. Okay, this is a counter purchase. Then we have offset. Offset is similar to the counter purchase insofar as one party agrees to purchase goods and services with a specified percentage of the proceeds from the original sale. Okay, then they change a bit. Okay, the difference is that this party can fulfill the obligation with any firm in the country to which the sale is being made. Okay, this offset. Okay, now we go to buyback. Buyback occur when the firms build a plant in the country or supply technology, equipment, training or other services to the country and agrees to take a certain percentage of the plant's output as a partial payment for the contract. Means you buy back. It's obvious what buyback means, right? Then we have switch trading. They refer to use of the specialized third-party trading house in a counter trade arrangement. So when a firm enters a counter purchase or offset agreements with a country, it is often end up with what we call as a counter purchase credit, which can be used to purchase goods from that country. So switch trading occurred when the third-party trading house buys the firm counter purchase credits and sell them into another firm that can be better used them. Okay, on the other words, actually switch trading is practice in which one company sells to another its obligation to make purchase in the given country. So counter purchase sales of goods and services to one company in other country by a company that promised to make a future purchase of a specific product from the same company in that country. Means you are switching trading lah, macam sistem barter juga. Okay, what are the pros and cons of the counterfeit counter trade. What are the advantage and disadvantage of a counter trade? Counter trade is attractive. Okay, this is pros. Counter trade is attractive because it gives a firm a way to finance and deal export deal when other means are not available. It is a firm is if a firm is unwilling to enter the counter trade agreement, it may lose an export opportunity to a competitors that is willing to make a counter trade agreement. In some cases, a counter trade agreement may be required by the government of a country to which firm is exporting goods and services. So this is a pro. Okay. How about the cons? This is the cons. Counter trade is unattractive because it may involve the exchange of unusable and poor quality goods that firm cannot dispose of profitably. It required the firm to establish an in-house trading department to handle counter trade deals, and counter trade is most attractive to large, diverse multinational enterprises that can use their worldwide network of contact to dispose of the goods acquired in the counter trade deals. Okay, this is the cons. Okay, that's all for today. Okay, let we just have a recap. We learn about export. Why is export? The promise and the pitfall of export. Okay, to improving export performance. An international comparison. We have the information sources. We learn about the export management companies, EMCS, and we have the, in order for you to reduce the risk exporting, the firm should do the what we call as an export strategy. Okay, we also learn about the export and import financing, include the lack of trust, letter of credit. We already learned draft, bill of lading, the typical international trade transaction, export assistance. There are two forms of government-backed assistance available to exporters. We have the export import bank. Okay, export credit insurance. We learn about the counter trade, the incidents of the counter trade, how counter trade happen, the system barter. The types of the counter trade include the barter, counter purchase, offset, compensation, or buying back, and we have a switch trading. Okay, then we learn about the pros and the cons of the counter trade. Okay, we learn about the what is the pro and cons of the counter trade. Okay, I think that's all for this week. We've done our topic exporting, importing, and counter trade. If you don't understand, you can message me personally. Okay, I will end this video. Thank you for your for listen to my video. That's all for today. Bye bye.